those are the tips I have for how you can increase the quality of the decisions that are being made about the people you care about. And that then is the springboard to other and better things, we hope. That isn't going to fix everything. You can appeal, you can say, we didn't get the service we wanted, you can do appeals, you can do grievances, and by all means, do those things. And by the way, I've got for you there on the first page, Disability Rights Wisconsin. They cover the whole state, and those would be for any people with family care issues who need advocates, under 60, and then 60 or older, the ombudsman programs with the State Board on Aging and Long-Term Care. And those are all great folks. As I told you, I worked at Disability Rights. They're really great folks. By all means, contact them if you're having issues with some of these individual services or whatever. Residential rates are a whole nother story, because what the MCOs are saying is that they can just cut rates based on business needs and assessments and so on, and they say it's not appealable, and it doesn't matter where you live. As long as you're getting 3 squares and a place to sleep, one residential setting that's at a certain level is the same as anything else. And so that's what the 2004 lawsuit grew out of, and that's what's happening now across the state. You know, never mind that the first one is I decide where and with whom I live, because that's a heck of an important outcome. The worst stories from the family care years are where these rate issues have broken up a group of people who've been living together for a long time. They've become a surrogate family. You know, they do things together. You have group homes where you got a whole Special Olympics team in a certain sport. They all live together. I mean, that's what we dreamed about when I was a little baby social worker in 1976. And we've created it, and now it's about to be sucked away. So that's just terrible. So the legal arguments that we're making now are, you know, right out of the book from 2004. It does matter to people where they live. We can't just pick on people with developmental disabilities and those with higher needs. And, you know, again, going back to a slide you saw earlier, I totally agree that we should try to move people along the continuum to needing less services and supports, those people who can live in an apartment and have a call center or a panic button or whatever, and then staff can respond in some way. That would be just great. But that's not what's happening. And I'll tell you why. The people who'd be perfect for that, or not perfect for that, let me start over again. A lot of people who could use that option and might even choose that option are the people who are now living with a family that's decided to have one person with disabilities live with them. And so we could have that person moved to the apartment component. The problem is that we wouldn't save any money because we're paying owner-occupied adult family home providers next to nothing. We'd actually be it would cost more to put in the supports to an apartment for one person. So what we're hearing over and over again is, you know, this guy who's costing $300 a day in a 6-bed medically fragile home, is there some way we can move him to an apartment, because then we'd really save some money. And of course, that might make sense to people at the accounting department, but really doesn't make sense to anybody who spent any time designing services for people with disabilities. And by the way, you know, in case there are people in the audience who say, boy, that Rock, you know, he's hard on MCOs, we're now talking to ex-MCO employees who have quit in disgust and say, don't don't bother trying to change the assessments so that you'll get more money. The accounting department is telling us this guy's getting cut this much, this guy's getting cut so much, you know, and so I'm sure there are some MCOs that are doing a conscientious job of this, but there are some that aren't, and that's why we're heading in the direction we are as far as needing to do something legally. With regard to these care plan issues and our specific services being provided, absolutely, you can contact the advocacy resources I've given you there. I think if you check with them, they aren't going to do this kind of rate challenge that I'm thinking about. So people are calling me, and you know, feel free to call me. I apologize to anybody who's tried to call me in the last few days. We're just stacked up. We aren't even going to be able to answer all our phone messages till sometime next week. Wanted to introduce, this is Vicki Davis, another lawyer in my office, and she actually is kind of been assigned the Care Wisconsin area, so ask for her. And but anyway, we want your calls. We want to learn about situations that involve these rate issues, and as you heard, lawyers like us trying to get paid at the end of a case. That's how civil rights cases work. And so we're not charging guardians, we're not charging individuals anything to talk with them or even to represent them in this class action.